2025 is your year to step into your own power. Focus on your goals, your growth, and your potential, and watch everything change. Have you ever felt overwhelmed, distracted, or caught up in the lives of others? We all do it. We scroll through social media, compare ourselves to friends, colleagues, or even strangers. And before we know it, our own goals and dreams get pushed to the side. But here's the truth. The key to changing your life in 2025 isn't about focusing on everyone else. It's about focusing only on yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how prioritizing your own growth, goals, and well-being will transform your life in ways you never imagined. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And it starts with taking full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. If you're tired of feeling stuck, if you want to make real progress this year, then stay with me. I'll guide you through simple, powerful steps to help you put yourself first, push past distractions, and start working towards the life you've always wanted. This is your time. Let's dive in and make 2025 your year. Number 1, set clear and meaningful goals. Setting clear and meaningful goals. Now, I know you've probably heard about goals before. People talk about them all the time. But let me ask you, do you really have them? Have you actually sat down, thought about what you want, and put it into words? Because if you haven't, let me tell you, you're missing the most important step towards success. You see, life doesn't just hand out achievements. Success isn't something you stumble upon by accident. If you want to change your life, if you want to become the kind of person you admire, it all starts with knowing exactly what you're working toward. Most people don't do this. They wake up, go through the motions, and hope things will somehow get better. But hope is not a plan. Wishing is not a strategy. If you want 2025 to be the year you finally take control, you need to be intentional. So let's get real for a second. What do you actually want? Not what your parents want, not what society tells you, not what looks good on paper. What do you want? Because if you don't define it, you'll never get there. Think about every area of your life. Your career, your health, your relationships, your personal growth. Where do you want to be a year from now? What would make you proud? What would make you feel like you're finally on the right path? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. Now, once you know what you want, you have to be specific. Saying, "I want to be successful," means nothing. What does success look like for you? Is it making more money? Is it starting your own business? Is it finally getting in shape? You need to be clear, because clarity gives you direction. If your goal is to lose weight, don't just say, "I want to get fit." Instead, say, "I want to lose 30 pounds by September." If your goal is financial, don't just say, "I want to make more money." Instead, say, "I want to earn an extra $50,000 this year." When your goal is clear, your actions become clear. And when your actions are clear, progress becomes inevitable. But setting a goal isn't enough. You have to make sure it actually means something to you. Let me tell you, if you don't care deeply about your goal, you won't stick with it. Because there will be days when you're tired. There will be days when you don't feel like working for it. And if your goal doesn't have a strong reason behind it, you'll quit. So ask yourself, why do you want this? Why does it matter? Why is this goal worth fighting for? Maybe you want to get in shape because you're tired of feeling sluggish and unhealthy. Maybe you want financial freedom because you've struggled for too long and you never want to feel trapped again. Maybe you want to start your own business because you want to create a better future for your family. Whatever it is, make sure your goal has meaning. Because when it does, you won't need motivation. You'll have purpose. Now, once you have a meaningful goal, you need a plan. This is where most people fail. They set big goals, but they never break them down. And when the goal feels too big, they get overwhelmed. They start doubting themselves. And eventually they give up. But let me tell you the secret. Every big achievement is just a series of small steps. You don't need to do everything at once. You just need to do something every single day. If you want to start a business, start by researching the market. If you want to lose weight, start by cutting out one unhealthy habit. If you want to make more money, start by learning a new skill. Small steps add up. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. But here's another thing. Your goal needs a deadline. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. You can't just say, "I want to do this someday." No, you need to decide when you're going to do it. Because when you put a time frame on your goal, you create urgency. You create focus. And that's what pushes you to take action. Now let's be real. This journey won't be easy. There will be obstacles, There will be days when you feel like nothing is working, but that's where most people give up. They hit a roadblock, and they think it's a sign to stop. But listen to me. Challenges are not signs to quit. They are signs to grow. Every struggle you face is an opportunity to get better. Every setback is a lesson. So don't be afraid of obstacles. Expect them. Prepare for them. And when they come, face them head on. And while you're on this journey, don't forget to track your progress. Too many people focus only on the end result, and they miss all the progress they're making along the way. But progress is what keeps you going. So celebrate your small wins. If you lost 5 pounds, acknowledge it. If you made your first sale, be proud of it. If you finished your first book, take a moment to appreciate it. Because when you recognize progress, you stay motivated. And when you stay motivated, you keep moving forward. Finally, let me leave you with this. 2025 is a brand new year. It's a fresh start, but nothing will change unless you change. Nothing will improve unless you decide to take control. So don't let another year pass by without progress. Don't let yourself stay stuck in the same place. Set clear, meaningful goals. Write them down. Make a plan. Stay focused. Take action every single day. And most importantly, never stop believing in what's possible for you. Because I promise you this, when you commit to your goals, when you push through the hard days, when you stay consistent even when no one is watching, you will wake up one day and realize that you have transformed your life. And that, my friend, is what makes it all worth it. So go make it happen. Number 2, take full responsibility for your life. If you want to take control of your life in 2025, if you want to see real change, if you want to finally break free from the patterns that have held you back, there is one thing you must do before anything else. You have to take full responsibility for your life. No more blaming, no more excuses, no more waiting for someone else to change your circumstances. It's all on you. And I know that can be hard to hear, but listen, it's also the most powerful decision you will ever make. The moment you take responsibility, everything changes. Because if your life is up to you, that means you can do something about it. And isn't that better than feeling powerless? Isn't it better than waiting for luck, or for other people to change, or for circumstances to suddenly get better on their own? The truth is, waiting is a losing game. Life doesn't wait. Time doesn't slow down just because you're not ready. The world keeps moving, and if you don't take charge, you'll be left behind. I meet people all the time who feel stuck. They say, I can't get ahead because of my boss, or I can't lose weight because my family doesn't eat healthy, or I can't make more money because the economy is bad. Now listen, are there unfair situations in life? Absolutely. Do some people start with more advantages? Yes, but if you let those things be the reason you don't move forward, you're giving up your power. You're telling yourself that someone else has control over your life. And that's just not true. You are the only one responsible for your future. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. The people who win in life aren't the ones who had perfect circumstances. They're the ones who took ownership of what they could control and worked with what they had. And you can do the same. But it starts with a decision. A decision that says, no matter what happens, no matter what challenges come my way, I will find a way forward. That mindset alone will set you apart from most people. Now let's talk about what taking responsibility actually looks like. It means you stop blaming others. It means you stop making excuses. It means you stop running from your problems. It means that instead of saying, I don't have time, you say, I haven't made it a priority. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, you say, I haven't figured out a way to make it happen. Do you see the difference? One mindset keeps you stuck. The other pushes you to find solutions. I know it's not always easy. I know there are moments when life feels unfair. I know there are days when it seems like nothing is working in your favor. But if you focus on what you can't control, you will always feel stuck. If you focus on what you can control, you will always find a way forward. And trust me, you have more control than you think. You control your effort. No one decides how hard you work but you. You control your habits. No one forces you to waste time, to eat poorly, to stay up late watching things that don't serve you. You control your mindset. No one forces you to think negatively, to doubt yourself, to stay in fear. Those are all choices. And if you're making the wrong choices, it's time to change them. Some people hear this and get defensive. They don't want to believe that their problems are the result of their own decisions. They would rather believe that life is just unfair, that success is for other people, that they have bad luck. But that kind of thinking will never lead to success. Because as long as you believe that your situation is someone else's fault, you will never do anything to change it. The truth is, we all have things in our past that were unfair. We all have things that happened to us that weren't our fault. But you know what? Those things are in the past. You can't change them. What you can change is how you respond. What you can change is what you do next. That's responsibility. Now let's get even more real for a second. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's because of the choices you've made up to this point. And I know that's not always easy to admit, but it's the first step toward real change. Because if you created the life you have now, that means you can create a different life moving forward. If you're out of shape, it's because of the choices you've made about food and exercise. If you're in debt, it's because of the choices you've made with money. If you're stuck in a job you hate, it's because of the choices you've made about your career. That's the truth. But the good news is, the future is still unwritten. You can make different choices. You can take a different path. So here's what you do. First, get honest with yourself. Where have you been making excuses? Where have you been blaming others? Where have you been avoiding responsibility? And once you see it, decide that from this moment forward, you're done with that. From this moment forward, you're taking ownership of your life. Then start making different choices. If you don't like your health, start treating your body better. If you don't like your financial situation, start learning about money. If you don't like your job, start developing skills that will give you better opportunities. And if you don't know where to start, that's okay. Just take one step, because one step leads to another. And before you know it, you'll be on a completely different path. But most importantly, be patient with yourself. Responsibility doesn't mean perfection. You will still make mistakes. You will still have days where you fall short. But the difference is, you don't make excuses. You don't let those moments define you. You acknowledge them, you learn from them, and you keep moving forward. Listen, life can be tough, but you are tougher. You have everything you need to build the life you want. The only question is, will you take responsibility for it? Will you decide right now that 2025 will be the year you finally take control? Because if you do, if you really commit to it, you will look back on this moment as the turning point. The moment you stopped waiting, the moment you stopped blaming, the moment you took full responsibility for your life. Number 3, develop a growth mindset. If you want to see real change in your life, you need to develop a growth mindset. Now, you might have heard that term before, but let me break it down for you in a way that really matters. A growth mindset simply means that you believe you can get better. It means you believe that your skills, your intelligence, and your abilities are not fixed. They can improve with effort. And once you truly understand this, it changes everything. Most people don't operate this way. Most people go through life believing that they are stuck with whatever they were born with. They believe that if they aren't naturally good at something, it's just not for them. They say things like, I'm just not a numbers person, or I've never been good at business, or I don't have the discipline to work out. And what happens? They stay exactly where they are. Because when you tell yourself that something is out of your control, you never take the steps to improve. You never push yourself beyond your comfort zone. But let me tell you something. The most successful people in the world weren't born with all the answers. They weren't handed a blueprint for success. They started just like you, with nothing but a desire to improve. The only difference, they believed they could learn. They believed they could grow. And because they believed that, they put in the effort. And because they put in the effort, they got better. Think about this. Every skill you have today, every bit of knowledge, everything you're good at, it all came from learning. When you were a kid, you didn't know how to walk. You didn't know how to talk. You didn't know how to read, write, or tie your shoes. But you learned. And you didn't stop just because it was hard. You didn't give up just because you failed a few times. You kept trying. And eventually you mastered those things. So why do so many people forget that as they get older? Why do people think that learning and growing is something that stops once they reach adulthood? It doesn't. The only reason most people stop growing is that they stop trying to grow. They get comfortable. They settle. And they tell themselves that this is just the way things are. But that's not true. The way things are right now is just a reflection of the choices you've made so far. And if you want a different life, you have to start making different choices. A growth mindset means that instead of seeing failure as proof that you aren't good enough, you see it as part of the process. It means that instead of avoiding challenges, you seek them out because you know that's how you get better. It means that instead of comparing yourself to others and feeling discouraged, you focus on comparing yourself to who you were yesterday. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to start a business, but you've never done it before. The fixed mindset says, I don't know how to do this. I'm not cut out for it. But the growth mindset says, I don't know how to do this yet, but I can learn. And because you believe you can learn, you start studying, you start practicing, you start trying. And guess what? Over time, you get better. And the more you improve, the more confident you become. This applies to every area of life. If you're struggling with your health, don't tell yourself, I've always been this way, and I can't change. That's a fixed mindset. Instead say, I may not have the best habits right now, but I can learn how to take better care of myself, and then start making small improvements every day. If you want to get better at managing money, don't say, I've never been good with finances. Instead say, I can learn how to budget, save, and invest, and then start educating yourself. Do you see the difference? The words you tell yourself matter. The way you think about your abilities matters. Because if you believe that growth is possible, you will put in the effort. And if you put in the effort, you will grow. Now let's talk about effort. Because some people misunderstand this concept. They think that just believing in growth is enough, but it's not. A growth mindset doesn't mean that success is automatic. It means that success is possible if you work for it. And that work is what separates the people who make real progress from the ones who just sit around hoping for change. So here's what you need to do. Start challenging yourself every day. Start putting yourself in situations where you have to stretch beyond your current abilities. Read books that challenge the way you think. Surround yourself with people who push you to be better. Learn new skills even if they scare you. Take on responsibilities that make you uncomfortable. Because every time you do, you grow. And here's something else to keep in mind. Growth isn't always easy. In fact, it's often uncomfortable. There will be times when you doubt yourself. There will be times when you feel like you're not making progress fast enough. There will be times when you wonder if it's even worth it. But that's when you have to remind yourself why you started. That's when you have to trust that even when you don't see the results right away, the effort is still paying off. Think about a seed. When you plant a seed, you don't see anything happen at first. You water it, you give it sunlight, you take care of it. But for a while, it looks like nothing is happening. But underneath the surface, the roots are growing. The foundation is being built. And then one day, that seed breaks through the ground. One day, you see the results of all the effort you put in. Your growth works the same way. You might not see immediate results. You might feel like you're putting in the effort and nothing is changing. But if you stay consistent, if you keep pushing yourself, if you keep learning, eventually you will see the results. So let me ask you, are you willing to commit to growth? Are you willing to take responsibility for your learning? Are you willing to push through discomfort and keep going even when it gets hard? Because if you are, I promise you, 2025 will be the year you start seeing real change. Not because of luck, not because of shortcuts, but because you decided to get better. Every single day, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you can grow. And once you believe that, once you truly embrace that idea, there is nothing that can stop you. So make the decision today. No more excuses. No more waiting for the right time. The right time is now. Start growing, start learning, and watch how your life transforms. Number 4, protect your time and energy, protecting your time and energy. If you don't take control of these two things, life will control them for you. And if life controls them for you, you're going to wake up one day wondering where all your time went, where all your energy went, and why you're stuck in the same place year after year. But if you learn how to guard them, if you learn how to use them wisely, everything changes. Most people don't realize how valuable their time and energy are. They treat them like they're unlimited. They waste hours on distractions. They give their energy to people and situations that drain them, and then they wonder why they're always tired, why they never have time for the things that actually matter, and why they can't seem to make progress in their lives. It's not a mystery, it's a choice. And if you don't make better choices, you're going to keep getting the same results. Time is the one thing you can never get back. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Once a day is gone, it's gone forever. And yet, people waste time like it's nothing. They scroll for hours on their phones. They sit around complaining about things they can't change. They get caught up in meaningless arguments. They procrastinate on things that could move their lives forward. And then they wonder why they feel stuck. It's because they're not using their time wisely. If you want to change your life in 2025, you need to start treating your time like it's valuable, because it is. That means being intentional. That means deciding in advance what you're going to focus on each day. That means cutting out the things that don't serve you. And that's not always easy, because there are distractions everywhere. There are people who will try to pull you into their drama. There are habits that will keep you in the same cycle. There are endless ways to waste your time. And if you're not careful, you'll let those things steal your future. The same goes for your energy. Your energy is just as important as your time, because without it, you can't do anything. You could have all the time in the world, but if you're exhausted, if you're mentally drained, if you're constantly burned out, you won't be able to use that time effectively. And yet, most people don't think about protecting their energy. They surround themselves with people who drain them. They stay in situations that stress them out. They say yes to everything, even when it's not good for them. They don't take care of their bodies, their minds, or their emotions. And then they wonder why they never feel motivated, why they never feel excited about life, why they don't have the drive to pursue their goals. You need to start paying attention to where your energy is going. You need to start noticing what lifts you up and what wears you down. And once you see it, you need to start making changes. Because if something is draining you, and you keep allowing it in your life, that's a choice. If you keep spending time with people who bring nothing but negativity, that's a choice. If you keep saying yes to things you don't want to do, just because you're afraid of disappointing people, that's a choice. And those choices are shaping your life. It's time to take control. It's time to be more intentional with where your time and energy go. That means setting boundaries. That means learning how to say no. That means protecting yourself from things that steal your focus. And that's not always easy, because people will push back. When you start setting boundaries, some people won't like it. When you start saying no, some people will take it personally. When you start focusing on your own goals, instead of always being available for everyone else, some people will call you selfish. But that's okay, because this is your life. And you can't build the life you want if you're constantly putting everyone else's needs before your own. Now let's talk about how to actually do this. First, you need to get clear on your priorities. What actually matters to you? What are the things that will move your life forward? What are the things that truly bring you joy, fulfillment, and progress? Once you know that, you need to start making sure your time and energy go to those things first. That means scheduling your days in a way that supports your goals. That means making time for your personal growth, your health, your passions, your important relationships. Because if you don't, something else will take that time, and it will be gone before you know it. You also need to start cutting out the things that don't serve you. That might mean limiting how much time you spend on social media. That might mean stepping away from people who drain you. That might mean cutting back on things that feel urgent but aren't actually important. Because let me tell you something, just because something is urgent doesn't mean it matters. A lot of people spend their days reacting to things that feel important in the moment but don't actually move their lives forward. And then they wonder why they never have time for what really matters. You have to start protecting your focus. That means creating time blocks where you work on your goals without distractions. That means turning off notifications when you need to concentrate. That means setting up your environment in a way that helps you stay productive. Because focus isn't just about willpower, it's about creating conditions that support your success. And don't forget about rest. A lot of people burn themselves out because they think working harder is the answer. But if you're always exhausted, you're not working at your best. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. That means getting enough sleep. That means taking breaks when you need them. That means doing things that recharge you. Because if you don't, you're going to burn out. And when you burn out, everything suffers. Now here's the most important part. You have to be consistent. You can't just protect your time and energy for a week and expect everything to change. This has to become a way of life. You have to keep making decisions that protect your focus. You have to keep setting boundaries. even when it's uncomfortable. You have to keep being intentional with your time, even when distractions are tempting. Because if you do this consistently, you will see results. You will make progress faster than you ever have before. You will feel more energized, more focused, more in control of your life. And that's what this is all about. Control. Not control in a rigid, stressful way, but control in a way that gives you freedom. Because when you take control of your time and energy, you get to decide what your life looks like. You get to decide how you spend your days. You get to decide what you focus on. And that kind of control is priceless. Number 5, improve your health and fitness, your health and fitness. If you don't take care of your body, you won't have the energy to take care of anything else. You can have big goals, big dreams, and all the motivation in the world. But if you're constantly tired, if you're always sluggish, if you're dealing with aches and pains that could be avoided, you won't be able to perform at your best. And here's the truth. Nobody else is going to do this for you. Your health is your responsibility. Your body is the only one you get. You can't trade it in for a new one. And if you don't take care of it, eventually it will slow you down. A lot of people don't think about this until they start feeling the consequences. They don't think about what they eat, how they move, how they rest, until they start feeling constantly exhausted. They don't think about how much time they spend sitting, how much junk food they eat, how little they exercise, until they realize their energy is gone. And when they finally wake up and try to change, they wonder why it's so hard. It's because bad habits build up over time. The way you treat your body today affects how you feel tomorrow, next week, next year. And if you want to live a strong, energetic, and productive life, you have to start making better choices now. This is not about looking a certain way. This is not about impressing anybody. This is about making sure you have the energy, the strength, and the mental clarity to go after the things that matter to you. If your body is constantly running on low energy, if your mind is always foggy, if you're struggling with fatigue every day, how do you expect to be successful in anything else? How do you expect to push yourself to the next level? How do you expect to work hard, stay motivated, and keep going when things get tough? You can't, because no matter how strong your mindset is, if your body is breaking down, it will hold you back. You don't have to become a fitness expert. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. But you do need to take care of yourself. You do need to start making choices that support your energy and your health. That means paying attention to what you eat. That means moving your body every day. That means getting enough sleep. And that means cutting out the things that are draining you. It's simple, but it's not always easy. Because unhealthy choices are everywhere. Junk food is easy. Sitting on the couch all day is easy. Staying up late watching TV instead of getting enough rest is easy. But all of those choices add up, and over time they will take a toll on your body. A lot of people think they don't have time to take care of their health. But let me tell you something. You don't have time not to. Because if you ignore your health now, you're going to spend even more time dealing with the consequences later. You're going to waste time feeling sluggish, dealing with preventable illnesses, struggling with a body that can't keep up with your goals. And if that happens, all the time you thought you were saving by skipping workouts, eating fast food, or pushing through exhaustion is going to be wasted. Because you're not going to be at your best. You're not going to be able to perform the way you need to. And you're going to regret it. Start small if you need to, but start now. Start by drinking more water. Start by going for a walk every day. Start by making one healthier meal choice. Because small habits add up just like bad ones do. And once you start feeling the benefits, more energy, better focus, a stronger body, you'll want to keep going. You'll want to push yourself to do more. And that's how real change happens. Your health is not just about your body. It's about your mind too. If you're constantly stressed, if you're always anxious, if you never take time to rest and reset, that will take a toll on you just as much as poor physical health. You have to protect your mental well-being just like you protect your body. That means taking time to clear your mind. That means stepping away from things that cause unnecessary stress. That means surrounding yourself with positive influences. Your environment matters. The people you spend time with matter. The things you consume, whether it's food, media, or information, matter. And if you're constantly filling your life with negativity, you're going to feel it. Make your health a priority. Stop putting it off. Stop telling yourself you'll start later. Later turns into never. And by the time you finally decide to take it seriously, you'll wish you had started sooner. Don't wait until you're forced to change. Don't wait until you're dealing with health issues that could have been prevented. Start now, start today, make one better choice, and then keep going. Because at the end of the day, success is about more than just hard work. It's about having the energy to keep going. It's about having the strength to push through. It's about making sure that when you finally reach your goals, you're healthy enough to enjoy the rewards. If you want 2025 to be the year you transform your life, start with your health. Because once you take control of that, everything else will fall into place. Number 6, invest in your skills and knowledge. Let's talk about something that separates those who stay the same from those who grow. Investing in your skills and knowledge. If you're not improving, you're falling behind. The world is moving fast. Things are changing. Industries evolve. Opportunities shift. And if you're not learning, if you're not upgrading yourself, you'll wake up one day and realize that the world has passed you by. A lot of people get stuck because they stop learning. They finish school, they get a job, and they think they're done. They think they don't need to improve anymore. They settle into routines. They do the same things over and over, and they expect their life to change. But it doesn't. Because nothing changes until you do. If you want to get to the next level, you have to grow. And growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make the decision to invest in yourself. Think about where you are right now. The skills you have today, the knowledge you have today, the way you think today, these things have created the life you're living. If you want a better life, you need to develop better skills. You need to think in new ways. You need to expand what you know and what you're capable of. Because you don't get what you wish for, you get what you're prepared for. And if you're not preparing yourself, if you're not getting better, then you're not going to get more. The most successful people never stop learning. They never stop improving. They're always reading, always learning from others, always pushing themselves to grow. And that's why they win. Because while other people are staying the same, they're getting better every day. And when an opportunity comes, they're ready for it. But the people who haven't been growing, they miss it. Not because they weren't lucky, but because they weren't prepared. Investing in yourself doesn't mean you have to go back to school. It doesn't mean you need a degree or a certificate. It means you need to be intentional about growth. Read books that challenge you. Listen to people who have done what you want to do. Learn new skills that will open doors for you. And don't just gather knowledge, apply it. Because knowledge alone isn't power. The power comes from using what you learn. Some people say they don't have time to learn. But they have time to scroll on their phones for hours. They have time to binge watch shows. They have time to complain about their problems. It's not a time issue, it's a priority issue. And if you don't prioritize your growth, you'll stay in the same place. The great thing about learning is that even small improvements add up. If you improve just a little bit every day, in a year you'll be a completely different person. Your skills will be sharper. Your mind will be stronger. Your confidence will be higher. You will have more opportunities because you'll have more to offer. But you have to start. And you have to be consistent. One of the best investments you can make is in your communication skills. No matter what you do, being able to express yourself clearly, being able to influence people, being able to connect with others, these things will set you apart. Some of the most successful people in the world aren't the smartest. They're just the best at communicating their ideas. They can persuade, they can lead, they can inspire, and that gives them an advantage. Another valuable skill is discipline, because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the discipline to apply it, it won't change your life. You need the discipline to keep learning, even when it's not convenient. You need the discipline to push yourself, even when you don't feel like it. You need the discipline to keep going, even when progress is slow, because growth takes time. If you're serious about improving, start tracking your progress. Write down what you're learning. Set goals for new skills you want to develop. Challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone, because growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens when you stretch yourself, when you push yourself to do things that feel hard, when you force yourself to keep going, when you want to quit. Your future depends on what you do today. If you invest in yourself now, you'll be ready for the opportunities that come. You'll have the skills, the mindset, and the confidence to step into bigger roles, to take on new challenges, to create a life that excites you. But if you don't, if you stay the same, if you let excuses stop you, then 5 years from now, you'll be in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Make the choice to grow. Make the choice to improve. Make the choice to become the best version of yourself. Because when you do, everything in your life will start to change. Number 7, control your emotions and reactions. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is learning to control your emotions and reactions. Most people go through life being controlled by their emotions. They react to everything. If someone upsets them, they get angry. If something doesn't go their way, they complain. If they feel unmotivated, they don't take action. And because of this, they stay stuck. They let their emotions decide what kind of day they'll have, what kind of effort they'll put in, and ultimately what kind of life they'll live. But if you want to reach your full potential, if you want to build the kind of life that most people only dream about, you have to stop letting your emotions control you. Emotions are powerful. They can push you forward, or they can hold you back. They can drive you to do incredible things, or they can keep you trapped in negativity and bad decisions. The problem is that most people don't even realize how much their emotions are controlling them. They think it's normal to react without thinking. They think it's normal to get angry when something goes wrong, to feel discouraged when things get tough, to give up when they don't see results fast enough. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who never feel emotions. They feel everything just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't let their emotions make decisions for them. They don't let temporary feelings dictate their long-term actions. They don't allow anger, frustration, or doubt to pull them away from their goals. They understand that emotions come and go, but choices have consequences, and they choose their actions based on what will move them forward, not just what feels good in the moment. Think about how many times emotions have led you to do something you later regretted. Maybe you said something in anger that hurt someone. Maybe you quit something because you felt discouraged in the moment. Maybe you made a bad decision because you were impatient. We've all been there. And every time, if we're honest with ourselves, we can see that acting on impulse, acting purely on emotion, usually doesn't lead to good outcomes. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore your emotions. It doesn't mean you should suppress them or pretend they don't exist. That's not the goal. The goal is to recognize them, understand them, and then decide how you're going to respond. Instead of reacting without thinking, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this response going to help me or hurt me? Is this action going to bring me closer to my goals or push me further away? When you start doing this, you'll begin to take control of your life in a way most people never do. One of the most important areas where this applies is dealing with setbacks and failures. A lot of people get discouraged when things don't go their way. They let frustration take over, and instead of pushing through, they give up. They say things like, "I guess this just isn't for me," or "maybe I'm not meant to succeed." But the truth is, the only thing separating those who succeed from those who don't is the ability to keep going despite their emotions. The people who win in life are not the ones who never feel doubt or frustration. They are the ones who refuse to let those feelings stop them. If you want to take control of your emotions, you have to practice discipline. It won't happen overnight, but every time you choose to respond with patience instead of anger, every time you choose to keep working even when you don't feel like it, every time you choose to focus on solutions instead of problems, you are strengthening that muscle, and over time it will become second nature. A great way to start is by paying attention to your triggers. Notice the things that tend to set you off. Notice the patterns in your reactions. When do you feel most frustrated? When do you tend to react impulsively? Once you become aware of these patterns, you can start changing them. Instead of reacting automatically, you can pause. You can choose a different response. And that's where real power comes from. Another important part of controlling your emotions is controlling what you focus on. Your thoughts create your emotions. If you constantly focus on problems, you will feel stressed. If you constantly focus on what's wrong, you will feel frustrated. But if you focus on solutions, if you focus on what you can control, if you focus on where you're going instead of where you are, your emotions will start to change. You will start to feel more motivated, more confident, more in control. This is why successful people are so intentional about their mindset. They don't spend their days complaining. They don't waste energy on things they can't change. They train their minds to focus on what matters. They feed their minds with positive, productive thoughts. And because of that, they are able to stay focused, stay driven, and keep moving forward no matter what happens. You have to understand that controlling your emotions is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. You won't master it overnight. But if you commit to working on it, if you commit to being aware of your emotions and choosing your responses instead of reacting impulsively, your entire life will change. You will have more peace, you will have more control, and most importantly, you will have the ability to stay on track toward your goals, no matter what life throws at you. The truth is, life is unpredictable. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you respond. And that one choice, that one decision to master your emotions instead of being ruled by them will separate you from the majority of people who stay stuck. Most people never learn this. They go through life being pulled in every direction by their feelings, never realizing that they have the power to take control. Don't be like most people. Decide today that you will take ownership of your emotions. Decide that you will no longer let temporary feelings make permanent decisions for you. Decide that you will respond with wisdom, patience, and discipline, instead of reacting out of impulse. Because once you do that, you will be unstoppable. Number 8, stay humble and keep learning. One of the most important traits you can develop is humility. I know it might sound counterintuitive to some people, especially in a world that often rewards confidence, loudness, and boldness. But staying humble and continuing to learn is what truly sets successful people apart. The best part is, you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not to do it. Humility is simply recognizing that no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. No matter how far you've come, there's always room for growth. No matter how successful you've been, there's always someone or something that can help you improve even more. It's about understanding that you are not the finished product, that you are always evolving. I've seen it time and time again. People get to a certain level in their lives or careers, and they start to think they have it all figured out. They stop being open to feedback. They stop reading, learning, or looking for ways to improve. They think they've reached the peak. And the problem is, when you stop learning, you stop growing. Here's something I want you to really grasp. No one is too successful to stop learning. No matter how great you are at something, there's always another level. There's always another piece of knowledge, another skill, or another lesson that can help you go further. And it doesn't just come from books or courses. It comes from people, experiences, and even your mistakes. The key is staying open to learning in every situation and from every person you meet. But humility is about more than just being open to learning. It's about staying grounded, staying connected to where you've come from, and recognizing that no one achieves success in isolation. You didn't get here by yourself. None of us do. There are always people, circumstances, and opportunities that help shape where you are today. And acknowledging that doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It makes you strong. It shows you have the maturity and the awareness to see the bigger picture. The thing about staying humble is it opens you up to growth. It opens you up to improvement. Humility keeps your ego in check, and when your ego is in check, you're better able to listen. You're better able to take advice, constructive criticism, and feedback. But when you let your ego get in the way, it's like putting up walls around yourself. You become closed off. You become resistant to change. You become stuck. I think back to some of the most successful people I've met. One thing that stands out about all of them is their willingness to learn. They never stopped learning, no matter how much success they had. They didn't think they knew it all, even when they had achieved remarkable things. They stayed curious. They stayed humble. And because of that, they kept growing. The best way to stay humble is to surround yourself with people who challenge you. People who don't just tell you what you want to hear, but people who push you, who question you, who make you think harder, who hold you accountable. These people are the ones who will help you grow. These are the people who will help you see your blind spots, help you recognize areas where you can improve, and keep you grounded in the reality that there's always more to learn. And this doesn't just apply to your professional life. It applies to your personal life too. We should always strive to be better. Better friends, better family members, better leaders, better citizens. When you adopt this mindset, it doesn't mean you have to constantly doubt yourself. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. Quite the opposite. It means you're confident enough in who you are to recognize that there's always room to grow. That's the difference between arrogance and humility. Arrogance says, I know everything, but humility says, I know a lot, but I'm always open to learning. It's a mindset that keeps you constantly moving forward. In addition to being open to learning, being humble also means not letting your success define you. It means remembering that your worth is not determined by your accomplishments. but by who you are as a person. The problem with letting success define you is that it becomes your whole identity. You start to believe that your worth is tied to how much money you make, how many awards you've won, or how many people know your name, and that's a dangerous trap. When you tie your self-worth to your success, what happens when things don't go well? What happens when you fail? What happens when things don't turn out the way you planned? If your identity is wrapped up in your achievements, those failures will feel like personal attacks. But when your worth is tied to who you are, your values, your integrity, your ability to learn and grow, then failure doesn't define you. You don't fall apart because of a setback. Instead, you learn from it and move forward. It's so important to understand this. Your worth is inherent. It's not earned through what you do. It's rooted in who you are. And when you keep that in mind, it helps you stay humble. It helps you stay grounded. It reminds you that no matter what you achieve in life, you remain just as valuable as you were before. You are not your success. You are not your failures. You are you. And that is enough. Being humble doesn't mean downplaying your achievements. It doesn't mean acting like you haven't done something remarkable. It just means not letting your achievements go to your head. It means staying grateful, staying aware, and remembering that there's always room for improvement. It means recognizing that there are always people who helped you along the way, people who gave you advice, opened doors for you, or supported you when you needed it. Humility is about giving credit where credit is due, and knowing that the road to success is paved by more than just your own efforts. I encourage you to embrace this mindset in 2025 and beyond. Stay humble, stay curious, keep learning, and watch how much further you can go. Because the moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So never stop. Stay humble, stay open, and never forget that the best is yet to come. Number 9, enjoy the journey, not just the results. I want you to really understand this, because it's one of the most powerful concepts you'll ever come across. The journey is just as important as the destination. In fact, it might even be more important. So many people get obsessed with the end result that they forget to enjoy the process. They focus so much on the finish line that they forget to look around and appreciate everything that's happening right now, in the present. You've probably heard it before. People say, "I'll be happy when I reach my goal," or "I'll celebrate once I hit my target." But let me tell you something, that's not how life works. If you only focus on the end, you miss out on everything in between. Life is made up of moments. It's made up of the little things, the lessons learned, the growth you experience, the people you meet along the way, the challenges you face, and how you rise above them. That's where the real value is. The results, the success, the awards, they'll come, but they're not what make life meaningful. It's the process. It's the work. It's the hustle. It's the dedication. It's how you show up every single day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of whether things are going your way. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is waiting for happiness. They think happiness comes only after success, but that's a lie. Happiness comes from the journey itself, from the way you handle every moment, every challenge, every decision. The truth is, if you don't learn how to enjoy the journey, you'll never truly be happy, even when you do reach your goals. Because the truth is, once you hit that goal, you'll set another one. You'll keep chasing. And if you haven't learned to appreciate the steps it took to get there, the next step won't feel any different. Let's be honest. Most of us think that when we achieve something big, we'll feel complete. We'll feel accomplished. But if that's what you're waiting for, you're missing the point. Life isn't about a series of big wins. Life is about how you show up, how you learn, how you adapt, how you take care of yourself, and how you serve others. It's about taking those small, consistent actions every single day. The journey is where you'll make all the memories, where you'll discover who you truly are, and where you'll find fulfillment. I want you to think about the goals you've set for yourself. Now I want you to ask yourself, what will it feel like when I achieve this goal? And when you picture that moment, really think about it. How does it feel? Does it feel like a single moment of success? Or does it feel like a culmination of everything that has led you here? That's what you should be focusing on. The journey that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. The beauty of it is in the effort you put into it. Too many people get discouraged by the idea that their progress isn't as fast as they'd like. They compare themselves to others. They see someone else's success and think, why isn't that happening for me? But here's the thing, you don't know the full story behind someone else's success. You don't know the work, the failures, the sacrifices they made to get there. Every journey is different. Your path to success is your own, and the timeline doesn't matter. What matters is that you keep showing up every day and putting in the work. That's how you grow. That's how you evolve. And when you start to enjoy that process, that's when you'll truly be successful. There's an old saying that says, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. I know it might sound cliche, but it's true. If you're not enjoying the ride, you're missing out on the best part. Life isn't just about the destination. Whether it's a new job, a new house, a financial goal, or anything else, it's about who you become along the way. It's about developing the strength, the skills, and the mindset to keep going, to keep growing, to keep striving, no matter what happens. When I talk about enjoying the journey, I'm not saying that everything is going to be easy or that you won't face challenges. Far from it. The journey is filled with obstacles. There will be setbacks, frustrations, and disappointments. But that's where the magic happens, because it's in those moments of struggle that you grow the most. It's in those moments that you learn the lessons that will shape your future. If you're only focused on the destination, you'll miss those lessons. You'll miss the opportunity to learn from every experience, every struggle, every challenge. And if you miss those lessons, you'll miss the growth. And if you miss the growth, you'll miss the true success. What I want you to do today is stop looking so far ahead that you forget to live right now. Yes, keep your goals in sight. Yes, stay focused on your vision, but enjoy every part of the process. Celebrate the small wins. Appreciate the effort. Recognize the growth you're experiencing every single day. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow. And every day you put in the work, you're one step closer to your goal. But more importantly, you're becoming the person who can handle that goal once you reach it. If you focus only on the end result, you'll be setting yourself up for disappointment. But when you focus on enjoying the journey, you'll find fulfillment along the way. You'll start to see the beauty in the hard work, in the hustle, in the long hours, in the sacrifices. And you'll start to realize that the journey is where the real success is. So I challenge you to make this shift. Instead of just chasing the destination, start chasing the journey. Fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the work. Fall in love with the effort it takes to get where you want to go. Because that's what makes the destination worth it. That's what will bring you true fulfillment. And when you can look back on your journey, you won't just see the end goal, you'll see the person you became, the lessons you learned, and the life you lived in pursuit of that goal. And that, my friend, is what makes the journey worthwhile. Number 10, make 2025 the year you transform. I want to talk to you about something that has the potential to change your entire life. Not next week, not next month, but today, right now. I want you to make 2025 the year you truly transform. I mean a real transformation, a shift in who you are and how you approach life, and in what you expect from yourself. We've all had those moments where we've thought, this is the year, this is the time I finally make it happen. But let me tell you something. The reality is, if you don't make a decision to change, to transform, and to put in the work, nothing is going to happen. Nothing. Transformation doesn't come by wishing. It doesn't come by hoping. It comes by deciding, and it comes by action. You have to choose it. You have to decide that this year, 2025, is going to be the year you turn things around and start living the life you've always known you could live. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's not like a switch that you can just flip and suddenly you're a different person. It's a process. It's a journey. And that's the beauty of it. It's about making small, consistent changes every day that add up to something massive over time. It's about building habits, strengthening your mindset, and developing the discipline to stay on track when things get tough. It's about showing up for yourself, even on the days when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing through the discomfort and choosing growth over stagnation. It's about committing to yourself, your future, and the person you want to become, no matter what. This transformation starts with a single decision, a decision to take control of your life, a decision to stop letting the circumstances around you dictate your future. You are in charge of your life. You are the one who decides where you go and what you do. If you want to transform, if you want to level up, if you want to make 2025 the year you become someone you're proud of, it starts with the decision to do so. And once you make that decision, everything else will start to fall into place. But let me be clear, this transformation is not going to be easy. It's not going to be all sunshine and rainbows. There will be struggles. There will be setbacks. There will be moments where you feel like giving up. But those are the moments when growth happens. Those are the moments that matter most. When you face challenges, you're being tested. And how you respond to those challenges is what shapes who you become. It's easy to stay committed when everything is going well, but true transformation happens when things get tough and you decide to keep going anyway. I want you to think about what you want for yourself. What do you want to accomplish in 2025? What do you want to look back on at the end of this year and say, I did that? I want you to really picture it. Feel it. What would it look like for you to completely transform your life? Maybe it's getting in the best shape of your life. Maybe it's growing your business, building new relationships, or finally mastering a skill you've been working on for years. Whatever it is, I want you to believe that it is possible, because it is. But it's not going to happen unless you make the decision to transform. It's not going to happen unless you take action and put in the work. Here's the thing, transformation requires a shift in mindset. You can't keep thinking the same way and expect different results. You have to think bigger. You have to believe in yourself more than you ever have before. You have to raise your standards and stop settling for less than you deserve. You are capable of so much more than you realize. But the first step is believing that you are. You have to believe in your potential, in your ability to grow, and in your ability to create the life you want. If you don't believe it, it's going to be a lot harder to make it happen. But let me tell you something. Belief alone isn't enough. You can believe in yourself all day long, but if you don't take action, nothing will change. Action is the key, and it's the small actions you take every day that add up to big results. It's about making the right choices consistently. It's about doing what's uncomfortable. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone and pushing yourself to do the things you've been avoiding. Growth happens in the discomfort. It happens when you push through the resistance and choose to keep going even when it's hard. One of the most important things you can do in 2025 is take full responsibility for your life. Stop blaming other people, stop blaming circumstances, and stop making excuses. Take ownership. Your success, your failure, your happiness, it's all in your hands. When you take full responsibility, you stop giving away your power. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. You stop waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your goals is you. And once you realize that, once you own that responsibility, you'll start to take action. You'll stop waiting and start doing. And that's when transformation begins. I want you to know that transformation isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. You're going to have to keep doing the work, day in and day out. You're going to have to keep improving. And the more you improve, the more you'll realize that there's always room for more. There's always another level to reach. And that's the beauty of it. There's always something more to learn, something more to become. It's not about getting to the end. It's about constantly evolving. It's about pushing yourself to be better than you were yesterday. And when you do that, when you commit to the process of growth, the transformation will come. This is your year. 2025 can be the year that you look back on and say, that was the year everything changed. But it won't happen by accident. It won't happen if you don't decide to make it happen. You have the power to transform your life. You have the ability to create the future you want. But it starts with a decision to show up every day, a decision to believe in yourself, a decision to put in the work, even when it's hard. And when you do that, when you take that responsibility, when you commit to transformation, I promise you that 2025 will be the year you change your life. So make that decision today. Don't wait. Don't put it off any longer. Take control. Commit to your transformation. And let this be the year that you finally become the person you were always meant to be. The best is yet to come. And it's waiting for you. It's your time. Let's go make 2025 the year of your transformation.